What's going on, guys? Brooks Anderson. It's been a minute since I've been on the YouTube side of things. Been super busy out there guiding almost every single day on Lake Lanier. Been super thankful to have a lot of awesome clients, kind of teaching them how and why we're using these techniques in certain areas. Had some incredible bags in the past 2 weeks, over 22 pounds on some trips, and had 2 trips even over 23 pounds. So definitely there's some awesome fish going, or awesome fishing going on Lake Lanier for sure. We'll touch on all the patterns, baits, all that kind of good stuff a little bit later in the video, how we're targeting those bigger fish, and also some of the ditch fishing, how all that's going down for sure. But today's video, I want to give you all an update of what I will be fishing in 2025, which will be the Bassmaster Opens. I want to bring you on my schedule and what it looks like for my guide service. I still will be guiding almost full-time in between these events, so definitely not slowing down at all on that side of things. If y'all want to get out on the water and target some of these big spotted bass, definitely will still have plenty of time to run on my trips. Just will be traveling for a couple weeks out of the year to some of these events. So I want to touch on all that and give y'all an update. Like I said, we'll also branch into the patterns and techniques we're running right now on Lake Lanier. So a lot of information. Hopefully y'all enjoy this one. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, like I said, I will be fishing all 8 of the Bassmaster Opens this year. Really excited to get back traveling and breaking down a lot of these new bodies of water. Something I really enjoy to do. We'll be traveling with a lot of the guys I went to college with, so it'll be pretty normal. Been doing it for the past 4 years on the college side of things. I'm really excited to make the step into the Opens this year. A lot of cool opportunities for sure, but and foremost, it's going to be an awesome learning experience for me, breaking down a lot of these new waters and just getting into some of these bigger tournaments. Once again, a couple changes with the Opens this year. They've actually switched it into 2 separate divisions, Division 1 and Division 2. I'll be fishing both of those. Each one of those divisions has 4 separate tournaments, and then from those 4 tournaments, the top 50 in the AOY go to the EQs from each trail. Now, the EQs are 3 tournaments next fall in 2025 on 3 undisclosed lakes so far. Going to be a really cool tournament circuit next fall that I hope to be in for sure. But if not, if I don't make it, it'll still be a ton of awesome connections I made throughout the year. And like I said, a bunch of learning on those new bodies of water. So definitely really excited to get that started. We're actually starting practice this Sunday on Clark's Hill. Been putting in a ton of work, kind of getting ready for that event. So definitely ready to kick things off in a couple of days out there on Clark's Hill. Then I'll be back here guiding for 2 weeks and then leaving for Sam Rayburn after that, and then Kentucky Lake, and then we keep going after that. So definitely a lot of really cool lakes we're going to. Like I said, I'll be traveling with a lot of the guys I've already been fishing college with, so it should be a pretty seamless transition where we're traveling all that together. Really used to all that just through college fishing, and I will be doing a tournament series of the Opens right here on my YouTube channel. So definitely looking forward to bringing all those tournaments to y'all. Gonna have some practice videos, tournament prep, and then also the tournament days for sure. Gonna have most of that content right here on this YouTube channel for y'all. So I encourage y'all to tune along and follow me throughout this season if y'all are interested in that. And then also I will still be making my usual videos on Lake Lanier when I am home guiding and have some off days in between. So definitely that's kind of what my year looks like laid out. Like I said, I'll have a tournament every 2 weeks or so, and then pretty much for the most part, I'll have 2 open weeks to run guide trips in between those events. There is a 1 month period where I will be gone for an entire month, but other than that, I'll still be back and forth from here running trips pretty consistently. So definitely still have plenty of time to get y'all out on the water, put y'all on some big spotted bass, break down each season and why we're using certain stuff out there. So definitely that's kind of the overview of what's going down this season. Really excited, like I said, to get started in a couple of days and bring all that stuff to y'all on the YouTube channel for sure. But we'll go ahead and wrap up and talk about what these fish are doing out there on Lake Lanier. We've had some crazy brutal cold temperatures these past couple of days. Lows of 20 into the teens, some crazy snow, all types of stuff's got these fish fired up, both deep and shallow. Been catching a ton of fish in ditches out there on Lake Lanier, still dropping that new 2.75 echo and also that 3.5 echo on a Demikiri to a lot of these bigger schools. They seem to be grouped up a little bit deeper, kind of in that 45 to 65 zone. A lot of those fish have slid out into that timber a little bit deeper than they have been in December and some of those earlier weeks in the winter ditch bite. I definitely think that has a lot to do with the water temperature. Some of those fish is sliding out there following that bait. Now, mainly we are targeting these fish on schools of threadfin in these ditches. Some of the more main lake related ditches definitely have a lot more herring. Those can sometimes be a little bit bigger quality fish, we've found for sure, but for the most part, these fish are predominantly eating those small threadfin, which that 3.5 and 2.75 echo on that queen tackle live sonar head, dropping it on them and also throwing it out there to them has been a killer technique for us. Now we're also catching a ton of fish on a spoon as well, still throwing that 6/10 ounce flex it spoon, that white chrome tape. Sometimes I'll mix it up and throw the green or the blue tape if I notice the watercolor. It's a little bit dingy or different, but those are my two baits for those ditches. Also been catching a lot of fish on a Kayatek 2 when I see a lot of bait and fish presence on the inside timber edge, call it 45 and shallower. Been crawling that on the bottom, catching a lot of fish as well. So definitely those are some baits for sure. The Kayatek 2.8, 3.3 have been kind of where I've been sitting. Those are awesome baits for sure to cover a lot of water. When you do have a clean bottom, I'm not necessarily crawling that through that timber, but if I do notice a ditch where there's a lot of bait and fish on that inside edge of the timber, I'll pick that up and crawl it on the bottom and pick up some really good fish as well. So those are a couple baits for y'all for the remainder of January into February in some of those ditches. Like I said, some of the main lake ditches are getting pretty good right now, but also the creek ditches are still good as well. But those are my three primary baits that we've been doing most of the damage on out there on Lake Lanier. And the second bite we've really been capitalizing on is the shallow bite. Now, this bite isn't as consistent day in and day out. There's some days that are really good, like when we have a couple of those 22, 23 pound bag days. Those are predominantly shallow fish. We're targeting those with a shaky head, Nico rig, and a Spro rock crawler. Those are my three baits. Up shallow, I'll kind of mix up the colors, but pretty much just a green pumpkin base. I'll throw to a lot of those fish with my forward facing and also make a ton of blind casts to those kind of isolated rock veins that are coming off the bank, whether that be clay, rock, anything like that. Anywhere those fish kind of just pull up, feed for a little bit. Those fish are eating big bluegill and big crawfish up shallow. Makes it a little bit more tricky to consistently target those fish, just because those fish that are up there, they eat a few times a day. They're definitely not just gorging themselves on bait all day like the deep fish. So timing, presentation, boat presence, all that, there's a ton of variables that go into those shallow fish that I cover in depth on my guide trip. So if you're interested in learning how to target those fish firsthand, I'd love to have y'all out in the next couple weeks when I'm back from Clarksville or after Sam Rayburn and break down that shallow bite. That's something that gets super good into that February period. A lot of these big spots will even pull up and spawn in February a lot sooner than people think, just on those isolated clay areas, rocks, stumps, all that kind of stuff. Definitely some big ones move up really early in February. It can be an awesome time to break your personal best. Last year we caught a ton of 5, even 2 6-pound spots in February last year. So definitely that's a really cool window. March, most of the spotted bass will spawn in March and April. So definitely a lot of cool fishing coming up for sure. If y'all are interested in getting in on any of that action, definitely check out my website down below. Also, I have started a channel system on my FishTips account. That's a bi-weekly update. So every 2 weeks I record a video, tell y'all all the hot baits, patterns, locations, everything we're doing day in and day in, day out there on Lanier is covered on that channel. It's $20 a month. It's an awesome starting point if y'all get to fish just on the weekends. Kind of want to get a heads up on what's going on, what you should have tied on, and the areas you should be looking for. So definitely check that out if you can't get out on the water with me with the actual guide trip. But other than that, really excited to bring a tournament video to y'all soon. Clarksville from that Open. Definitely looking forward to starting the season off in a couple of days. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see y'all on the next one.